Oh mein Gott, man sieht mich schon. Oh no. Okay, let's do this. Alrighty, so I decided to do this talk in English because I have a bunch of friends who might be. Okay. Technik, ich höre mich doppelt. Yeah, probably. Okay, yeah, okay. This works. Okay, sorry again. Yeah, I decided to do this talk in English because a bunch of my friends, or at least some of my friends, wanted to join and understand me as well. So I'm going to do that. You can, of course, ask me in German everything that's unclear or still needs clarifying. I can, of course, answer in German as well. Okay, so working with style. Yeah, that's my theme, and we're gonna see what I'm gonna do with that. Okay, so change the window. Yeah, technique. I'm a pro. Okay, a bit about me. I'm a teacher mostly. That has been my occupation for now about 7 years, I think. I just happened to teach. I don't know. I never watched for that. I never looked out for teaching gigs. Just happened. But actually, I studied design, communication design. So I'm also a designer, and I'm a bit of an illustrator and a concept artist. At the moment, I'm employed with Ulisses Spiele. They do pen and paper role-playing games and stuff like that, and I'm doing a video game with them. So that's going to be exciting. Hopefully, I'm actually not a penguin, sadly. Yeah. So I've always been a bit of a style hopper. So I don't know why. Mostly because I'm very impatient and can't focus long on stuff. So it's easier for me. Oh, yeah, okay. It's easier for me just to switch it up sometimes. I'm a bit too quick for my PDF file, apparently. I like cute shit and I like dark shit. I just can't really focus. So I need to switch it up. And yeah, shouldn't have overloaded that with so many PSD files. I now noticed. I also like to do 3D because I can't just do 2D because I'm just, yeah, very, very impatient. Yeah, you saw Darkwing Duck. Okay, that's great. Yeah, this is Animal Crossing. So yeah, I like Animal Crossing as well. And a little bit of my Ulisses artwork, and I hope the slides will work better as soon as I go to the text files. God damn it, I'm so sorry. Oof, now it's getting really heavy. Okay, yeah, we're through with that in a second. I overestimated my PC. Oh my goodness. I should maybe skip those. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's almost over. Fingers crossed, y'all. Okay, that was the last picture I wanted to show you all. And now text. Yes, it's over. Okay, but what is style? I've been around the internet for quite a while now. I started on a manga fan site called Animex, and then I switched to DeviantArt and Tumblr and LiveJournal and all that stuff. And talking about style was always kind of a topic. Like, yeah, you stole my style, or this is a style I've seen somewhere else. But mostly we're kind of in between two poles: realism and stylized, and sometimes semi-realism, and for stylized, cartoon, and the evil manga, and sometimes Disney, and if you're an animation geek, the color art style. I don't know why this is a thing, but these are not really helpful actually to talk about style. It's more helpful if we talk about general concepts of how to design and how to create. So form and shapes, colors, mood, lines, shading, proportions, abstractions. These are just general concepts we gotta keep in mind if you want to talk about style, because it's easier just to analyze what makes a certain style, instead of just saying, yeah, this is manga. I mean, a Ghibli movie looks quite a bit different from Dragon Ball, looks quite a bit different from Sailor Moon, or stuff like Oyasumi Ping Ping. It's about a weird little penguin that does stuff. I don't know, I gotta Google that again. Yeah, stuff looks different, and these kind of terms help us talk about that more efficiently than just saying, okay, this is cartoon, this is realism. I'm mostly somewhere mostly around this realism side though. Okay, and since I'm mostly a teacher, I gotta ask some friends and colleagues what their experiences are with styles. So I have three case studies. A friend from Tivola, my friend Siaktro talked to me, and my art director with Ulisses talked with me about myth. I'm happy that I can work with him. He's such an angel, and yeah, I will just gush all the time, so don't worry. Okay, Tivola is working on a new IP. I can't really talk about it, so but I try still to make it interesting. And it's gonna be a mobile game. They're a really small team. There are only 2 people working on this at the moment. 2 artists. There are more people working on this, but this is Tivola's status quo. For Siakro, he works on a new IP called Tori, with many others. He's all over. And it's gonna be a PC game. And he's a single dev, and I skipped a couple of slides. For Myth, this is a new product based on a very old IP on a board game, actually. It's a pen and paper game, so it's not digital. A little bit of an outliner there. And it's 1AD with 5 freelance artists. Yeah. Considering expectations. Okay, if you want to do a game, or if you want to do any kind of product, you'll always work for someone else. Of course, for one thing, we want to create stuff we enjoy. Most indie devs do stuff they enjoy, and some of us maybe want to get rich, but I mean, we're in the games industry in Germany, so getting rich is kind of a high order. But we have to consider user expectations. I was thinking about it a little bit, and the thing is, we always have archetypical shapes and designs and forms. We have very specific ideas of what things should be like. So just for a little exercise, imagine a chair. I'm giving you a second or two, and you just imagine a chair. What's a chair like? What does a chair look like? What is its function? What's a chair? You probably didn't expect something like this or this. It was possibly something more around this. That's why we have to consider what are expectations. We have very baseline expectation of things, but we can build on these. So if you want to do stuff like this, it's good that we have an image of that beforehand. So what does this mean for game dev? I've kind of split that into areas. On the one hand, a new IP, and on the other hand, an old IP. So for a new IP, it looks like the thing. So what does it mean? It looks like a thing. Sometimes it behaves like the thing. So this is God, was this briefly default? I hope, yeah. I played that and I loved it, and it was exactly what I wanted. I saw the style, and the style screamed, hey, I'm a JRPG. I'm classic. You can play me. I'm exactly what you want from me. It's turn-based, and we have a lot of lore, and you can do magic, and you can do fighting, and it's exactly like it looks. Like, that was exactly what I expected. It's what I got. But sometimes it looks like a thing, and it behaves like quite a bit of a different thing. Maybe you know this one. I don't want to go into spoiler area, but yeah, that's not the thing you think it is. It's not a cute visual novel with cute anime girls. Or is it? It's not. Okay, for new IPs, you have 2 cases. It's it looks like the thing, and it plays like the thing. That's the optimum. Like, for example, Bioshock 1 looks like the thing, plays like the thing. That was a great new IP. Bioshock 2 looked like the thing, played like the thing, had a little bit of a worse plot, but that doesn't matter really. But it was still Bioshock. Even with the third part, it didn't really look like it anymore, but the whole flair, the whole feeling was there, and was still Bioshock, even though it was in a different setting. It looked like the thing, and it played like the thing. Sometimes it looks like the thing, but really behaves like another thing. This is Dead Space 3, and we don't like it for reasons. No, it's still a good game. Like Dead Space 3 is still a good game. It just isn't Dead Space 1 or 2. And then we have the other case that it looks like another thing, but still plays like the thing. I don't know if you still remember this little guy. I loved that one, really. But yeah, I was in the field of, no, this doesn't look like Zelda. This isn't Link. What is this stupid little guy doing on a boat? This is not my kind of Zelda. And it's an amazing game. It's a great game. It just didn't look like it, so it was not very well received. So you really have to think about what you want to communicate. In the end, it's always about the idea. Like, what do you want to sell? And they took a risk with Zelda, and I think it paid off. It's still a great look. It aged beautifully because you have simple shading, simple textures. It still looks good today. I think they took the right decision. And then you have the other kind of games. Play that one. It's really fun. Okay, so considering expectations, the case studies. I asked my friend at Tivola, Denise, I will come to her later, and of course, their new IP has to fit in with their old IPs. So they have their old users that kind of want more of the same things still. It's mostly young players, or at least players who are young at heart. We have a look at their catalog later. And they still want to do something new, something more exciting, and something for a more demanding user base. They mostly did pet games, so you care for an animal and you care for an animal. That's basically it. Now they want to try something new. That's gonna be more demanding. I hope it pays off. For Siakro, he wants to unify two user bases. So this is his goal. He has expectations. Ooh, this chat is going well. Sorry, shouldn't be so distracted. He has two user bases. He does a lot of very different games, and now he wants to unify them to strengthen his brand idea, to strengthen the idea that, hey, if you buy or play a Siakro game, it's something you can rely on, like it's something you can expect. And his and I really like this. He puts the user's expectations second. He does games for himself, and I think that's great. And I think if indie game artist, indie developer can do this, this is amazing. So for Myth, my art director told me, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what our users expect. We're really on new ground here. We can't really alienate the old fan base since it's based on an old IP, on a board game, and a very well-received Kickstarter back then, in America at least. We can't really do something completely new with it. And it's mostly aimed at the American market, and we want to get our older players, the one who play the Dark Eye from Ulisses or Hexen or all the other stuff that's going on there. But we also think it's a look and it's a style and it's a gameplay that can attract younger players as well. So how do we find a style now? This is something I painted years ago, just so you get an idea. There's a lot of variety going on. Finding a style case study for Tivola is, it started out with Denise. I had a lovely call with Denise, and she told me, yeah, I started out with Tivola after studying, actually, and she helped with My Red Panda. And just having one artist from the start, it's turned out to be quite the plus. She really leaned into her strengths. This is something she did with Daedalic Entertainment later on, after her first stint with Tivola. And there she learned some hand-painted stuff and really leaned into the low poly, simple 3D things with high contrast, strong colors, like really bold, and she's really careful about her forms, her shapes, and she always talked to me about that she doesn't like noise. Stuff doesn't have to be noisy. And yeah, hand painted, bold, colorful. This is something she wanted to do for the new game. She went back to Tivola after working with Daedalic and told them, yeah, if we want to do something new, I want to do something fun. So I hope that works out for her. So she really leaned into what she learned with the Daedalic, the hand painted thing, and it also has a lot of shit. Limitations. It helps with the limitations of the hardware. God damn it! Sometimes I just forget my words. This is a style test she did. just to try out what she could do for the Tivola look with her skills. For Siakro, this is actually a very long journey he undertook, and that started with Kiwi 64 in 2014. Another very great talk I had with him. Kiwi 64 was inspired by a lot of buzz that was going around about a new banjo kazooie, banjo tooie kind of thing. Do tell me if I was saying that wrong. And yeah, that got him excited. So he actually looked at the models and looked at the textures and the whole geometry and stuff. And that was something he could work with. So that's something he wanted to do. The game wasn't remade, so he did his own thing. For another game, that's Macbeth, that's actually available on the Switch. It's really fun. This is just a shout out because I had fun playing it. He leaned into the aesthetic a little bit more. So he strengthened the colors. You can really have, that's a nice comparison. If you look at the rock textures in the background and the rock textures for this one, the contrast is much higher and the colors are brighter and it's much more fun and vibrant. So he really leaned into the whole retro aesthetic and continued with that. He told me that just by good fortune, the whole retro thing is still that interesting to him that he wants to work in that style. If it was boring to him, he would just drop it and do something else. I think it's great if you have that kind of freedom for your work. Then we talked about the whole city pop aesthetic. That's something that developed from him. Gotta find my notes. That's the thing, if you just ad-lib it and not scroll in your notes. Give me a second, I'm sorry. Yeah. So he saw the look of Mega Man Legends, and Mega Man Legends is something very interesting style-wise, because he discarded Unity's bilinear handling of textures and used the dot mode. So everything is really nice and pixelated, which makes it pretty crisp. Just for a comparison again, you see here the textures are really blurred, and I mean that's just a look. This is really nice and really crisp and feels pretty modern comparing these, despite the textures still being extremely small. Like he told me that the textures for his first two games were all 32 by 32 pixels, and it blew my mind when he sent me the little files of those tiny tiles. That's really fun and interesting to me. So, but he also told me that if the style of the game doesn't fit the style he wants to have for his brand, the game gets becomes something different. It's got to be smaller. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one actually. So the style decides what the game will become. If the game's going to be a mainline title or just something on the side. For Myth, I was lucky enough to have a little chat yesterday, actually, with Keith Lowe. He did the original Myth Kickstarter. He produced the IP, and he was the first artist. So there was a lot of pressure on him producing very quite a lot of tiny illustrations for this game. He told me that he painted about 10 little illustrations in a week. So of course, the style had to be appropriate for that. He didn't really consider stylistic choices. It was just something that was fun to him. Again, he also focused on strong silhouettes and dynamic poses and wanted to do something that his kids could enjoy, which I think it's really lovely. It's really stylized, really bold, very high contrasty colors. On the left, we have this one with the yellow and the violet, and the violet and the green. And it's really just very vibrant, but also very simple. You know, it's just a little action, just a little action scene. There are no complicated perspectives or complicated stagings. It's just really fun and bold, and just very there. So when we wanted to work with this style, we had, of course, we had to adapt. So that meant since we're working with a broader pool of artists now, and we have to have a lot of publications a year. That's just the thing Ulysses does. I think in the next 2 or 3 months they'll have 2 myth publications, if I'm not wrong, and we're already working on 5 other books. So there's a lot of things to do. But we also couldn't teach 5 different artists the new style. So we kind of had to adapt. For one, we decided, well, I say we, I mean, of course, Mike, he's my art director, and it's a pleasure working with him. He's really, really patient. So we decided, okay, we want the colors, we want the boldness, we want the roughness. This is, by the way, not the final artwork. I have to go over this and roughen it up a bit because it's still too clean. That's not what we want. We want a very, not impressionistic, but it kind of goes into that line, kind of look. But still, we want to be dynamic and fun, and the silhouettes should still be good and readable. The illustration also has another has other dimensions, of course. But we also realized that the artists' own styles, the artists who have to adapt to this look, have to be considered. So having different styles and different mannerism. For example, I always work very high contrasty, and I really like dark colors. It's just a thing I gravitate to. And having this and knowing this really helped me adapting to a different style. So for the other artists, of course, if someone works on a really, really bright palettes, they get really, really bright illustrations because we have to lean into their strength. And this is something, if you work with a lot of artists, you have to realize. You have to have artists that know what they are doing and why they're doing it. I know I'm doing high polished rendering because my shapes just aren't that good. So if I render things and make everything smooth and everything looks beautiful and pretty and shiny, my shapes don't really matter all that much because I can make it shiny and make it look good. So therefore, I can really focus on that. So working on myth, this is the first illustration I did, doing some more right now, really helps me push into another direction. It's just a lot of fun. So yeah, finding a style. Basically, what you need to find a good style is obviously money, is skill, and is time. There was something I talked to Denise about because she started out working for them, and it was like, okay, you now have a year to do all the assets for this game. There was not really a concepting phase. So, I mean, in the end, they actually managed to stretch that time a little bit, but it was a decision from her, okay, what can I do in that time? I have a year. I'm not going to try something new. This is not possible. So I just go back to what I can. And her skill is in great silhouettes, in great shapes, and her skill is hand painted because she did that for a while now. So why not use that? If you have a great artist who already has something he or she excels at, they excel at. Lean into that. So if you have a amazing manga artist, why not use them? I mean, I know it's still a bit, yeah, it's a boy topic in Germany. I don't know why, but just use it. If it looks great, it looks great. So, keeping with style, I have them now like this and compare them. What Tivola did, they have a small team. After Denise started working, they actually got a second artist for the backgrounds, and they split that into different areas. So she mainly focused on doing the hero assets and on doing little objects you can use and all the characters, and the other 3D artist only does the backgrounds. Also, they had prior experience working as a team. They worked together at the Delic, I think, so they already know what they can do and what they can bring to the table. And they had a performance as limitation. So Denise told me for the backgrounds, of course, for all the trees and leaves, and the 3D artists among you know that we like alphas. Those are great. You have little geometry and can do a lot of detailing. But since it's a mobile game, working with alphas and Unity especially doesn't really work that well for a game that really counts on good performance. So alphas were out. So that's why it's good just to check what you can do with your limitations, and sometimes technical limitations are great. I mean, she showed me a little bit of what they did with that style, especially for the background assets, and they look really good. So for Siaktor, the style evolved organically since he's been working for years now on little games and little projects, and especially little experiments that each help each other getting better. So if he did a little handy game, a mobile game with a little jumpy thing. He showed me that. So he liked that bouncy animation. He used it for another game. So just it evolved organically. And so it gets second nature for you to work in. Also, he works with really, really simple assets. He actually told me what 3D software he used, and I couldn't quite believe it. It's a little bit younger than the style he tries to emulate. It's called, give me a second. I already tried to erase it from my mind. Damn it, Milkshape 3D. Yeah, Google that. It's fun. Yeah, so he used that, and it's really simple, and it's really simple geometry and simple textures. And when he was still working in the old stretch texture style, those are super forgiving. Like if you stretch a texture, it doesn't need to be super crisp, doesn't need to be super great, because there's just so much room. You have just a lot of, yeah, just room to play. And then he has a very interesting approach he used for some of his games. He's always doing some levels and just trying things out until he finds the one level. That one level that decides the style for the whole game. And since his assets are so simple and his texturing is so easy, well, easy, it's actually really, really easy for him to go back to his older levels and adapt them and iterate on them. So they fit that one level and that one look. So it's actually really easy for him to keep with his style, especially since he's an author. I coined that term for him. He didn't call himself that, but I was just so flabbergasted with all the mad things he told me. He's a real video game author. He's just the only one. He does his thing, and it's all very organically him. For Myth, I really had to rely on my art director. I don't know if you know that, but when I was studying communication design, I always had a side eye on doing concept art. I mean, I do concept art now. That's really fun, but it's actually not as common for most projects. The one for Tivola, for example, they just did a proof of concept character and worked from that. There was never any concept art. For Myth as well. I mean, the concept art we do is kind of the things Keith did, but we had to work in the progress. Ulisses itself, the only project we really had concept art for is a new IP that's gonna be released this year, I think. Even the game I'm working on, I'm doing concept art on the fly. Like for every background I paint or for every character I do the really, really quick concept art, really quick iterations, and there's just no time to really finalize a style. We just have to trust that we're gonna do good. So it really helped having a strong feedback loop of communication with Mike. It really, really helped me and my artwork. And he's also very involved. The other day, he just took my ArtStation portfolio and picked out all the pictures that kind of vibe with the whole Myth look. Um, uh, yeah, so that was super helpful. Like illustrations I completely forgot about. He was like, hey, you see, for that little magic mouse dude, look at that. Look at the sketches you did. Those are actually kind of what I want for Myth. Or another commission I did years ago for a dragon pet site. Um, those I did in under an hour, so it was a really quick turnover, and that was exactly the style he was looking for. I just have to remember that I did that already. So it was super helpful having someone that really takes the time to talk to his artists to make them work easy. Also, we have a very small pool of very dependable artists, especially for a kind of new IP like Myth. I mean, we adapted that from a board game, but still it's new for us. So it's good just to start out with a small pool of artists, just not to overwhelm yourself. I mean, for the most indie developers, it's probably not feasible to even hire more than 2 or 3 artists. But still, it's a plus. It's not any kind of disadvantage. And he said very clear visual pillars. This is something you can do even without doing a style guide, style Bible, or very involved concept art. Just have basic pillars of things you want to have for a style. So for us, it was dynamic poses, dynamic staging, reduced details, reduced colors, just going for a very simple color palette that's still very hard for me. Strong shapes and outlines, so no smooth edges. Everything has to be really bold, has to be really there. Style and proportions, we want to be comic-y, and there we use the word comic more as a, okay, this is not realism, and it's very broad, and every artist brings bring their own style to the table, which is really fun. I've seen some artwork from the other artists, and it's really interesting for me to figure out, okay, what stuff did you read as a kid, or what did you what were you invested in as a kid? And rough rendering, that's the one. God, they're all the one. So basically, keeping with the style, there are two main areas. It's the oversight, the art direction, the style guide. Just have it somewhere. It doesn't have to be much. And the other one is the communication, comfort, and teamwork. For me personally, I really enjoyed working with Myth. Before that, I've worked a lot for the Dark Eye, and this is also very fun, but just so much more comfortable with Mike working with him because the illustration were just so simple and the pressure was so low. Just to give you an idea of my workload for a Dark Eye illustration, I take around 1 to 2 weeks full-time work. And as a freelancer, this would be the same price tag as with the 8-hour illustration from it. So because pen and paper publications mostly pay you by size. So full size, half size, quarter size, stuff like this. So these are the two main things I'd say are important to have a cohesive style. Because in the end, your games may be interesting because the style is good, or the user will maybe have a second look at it, but style doesn't keep your public. Style is just it's a hook. It's something to lure people in if you want, so, and to have some really nice public images. But style is not what keeps your players. What keeps your players is obviously fun, and fun is yeah, this is such a vague term, but it's more fun if you have a cohesive art style, if you just really immerse in the game. So cohesiveness is more important than quality, actually, even if the game looks really shit or very rudimentary. Let's just say rudimentary. I mean, Minecraft, for example, very rudimentary style, but very cohesive. There's nothing that irritates my eye. Another game that has a beautiful style, and I bought that for the style actually, was Gris, I think a year or two ago, and I played that for about 10 minutes, and then I gave up because it was boring. Beautiful, but boring. So yeah, the style hooked me, but it didn't help me with my retention rate. And if you're in mobile and if you're depend on people coming back to your game and not just buy it once and then keep it forever. If you want my PDF, I can send that to you if you want. Then it's more important just to have it something that's cohesive and just is fun and it's easy to play. So yeah, that's about it. I don't know if you still have any questions. There's a lot of things I skipped because I was very nervous. I hope I can do this one in the future again. And just some awesome people I just have to thank. Of course, the whole Hamburg team, you've been so amazing. Thank you so much, especially with all my little technical problems. And Mike, who's an amazing art director, Denise, who has been just incredibly lovely, Siak, who has been very fun, Stefan, who just gave me this opportunity to have a little talk, and Keith, who just took a bit of a very stressful day just to talk with me, which was really good. This is what I love with indie developers. You're just a little bit of family. So, okay, this is it. If you have questions, now's the time.
Yeah. Yes, so thank you, Christiane, first for the talk and for all the compliments and the flowers to our team. And
flowers all around.
Yeah, love is all around. Yeah, my English is not that good, but I can try it now. We have only one question, but first I have a question for myself. um, and yes, in the beginning of your talk, you
Hmm.
always had a little word, and how do we say it in Germany? A Kürzel, I think it is a short.
Abbreviation? Yeah, for
Yeah.
what about
What is a IP?
an IP?
Yes.
Huh.
What
Well,
is it? When it's not the technical in the
yeah, how do you
IT.
translate IP? I never thought about it. It's basically just an
Intellectual property.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Thank you.
Yes, I'm not that
This is just
intellectual,
something I
so
use all the time and
oh, thank
rarely
you,
think
chat.
about it. I
That's
feel
great.
found out.
No, that's great because yes, I thought, what is she talking about? And I tried to understand about IP and I know layout, and I'm artist for myself, and I do illustrations too, but I'm not that very. I don't do it very much in English, and so Andre Nell had it googled. So okay, I'm not the only dully here in the
Yeah,
round.
I just completely forgot. Like
Oh,
sometimes it's
danke,
just like that,
Schlawina.
right?
Yeah.
You have it so clear, and you just know exactly what it is. I often have that with English and German words. Like the other day, I had a talk with someone, and it was about potatoes. Like
Yes.
very simple thing, and I just completely forgot what a potato was in German. I just what was a potato? I now remember what a potato is, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great.
sometimes be like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. So I think that's good that I asked it, and yeah, and we have a question from Two Paintings Later is the name. Very funny. Um, the question is in German, and it's I can try to translate it,
Yeah,
but
you
it
can just say it in
2
German.
hours, so not two paintings, it's 2 hours later maybe. Hat das Kommunikationsdesignstudium sich am Ende gelohnt? Wie kommt man dann?
No! That was a huge waste of my time. I hated every minute of it. No, 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 no,
Yes,
no.
the
I'm
study.
kidding. I'm kidding. But it was really not for me. It was for people who wanted to do design and who did logo designs in their free times or did cover art and all those things or created websites. And I was just a little sad manga girl trying to do something creative. So I studied that, and it was an experience, and it helped me, just getting a basic grasp of designing and
Yeah,
yeah, just working creatively, and it made me a better concepter, like not especially concept artist, but it made me think in pattern, and it's not as artsy as I would have liked to be, but I think in the end it was better. I mean, one semester I completely skipped because I went to Japan on a whim. So
okay, so the way was another than the official way.
yeah, I'm all over the place. That's my brand.
Yeah, okay. Because I would say, yes, for me it was good. To study communication design, it was
Oh, I didn't know you did.
it was a great overview, and that I know how to do logos, or it's so in many ways. But it's a long time ago. I don't know how the studies are today. But I think if you want to start with it, it's a great door to
Yeah,
enter
actually, I think the
to the
same. If you
yeah.
just want to do something creative, like,
Yeah, if
um,
you don't know what,
yeah,
this question has another part, and the person is asking, wie kommt man deiner Meinung nach am besten als Artist in die Gaming-Branche? So how you can start best in the games business?
networking.
Yeah.
I've been very, very shy as a kid, and if I should say this in German, I don't know. Tell me. I was really shy kid and a really shy adult actually, and for the gaming industry, I just had to kick myself and go to events and meet people. And at the
Yes.
moment, I know that's terribly hard. But I also realized if you're not super shy, just write people. For example, Keith. I mean, we never had any contact at all. I just out of the blue wrote him an email, hey, would you like to chat about myth? So, and he was like, yeah, sure, just let's talk. Most people are just very nice and very giving, and there are so many communities, and yeah, it's networking, networking, networking.
Yeah.
Of course, you gotta be a bit good, and it's good to know some technical terms, and it's good to know 3D. Getting work as a 2D artist it's quite hard.
Yeah.
So do some 3D actually.
Yes, I hate it, but okay.
That's something Denise told me actually. She had a chat with one of her teachers back when she was studying, and he asked her, "So do you want to make money?" And she was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Yeah, sure. Yeah, then do 3D. Stop with the 2D. There are too many people that are better than you."
Yes,
And yeah,
or do concepts. Yeah, yeah, you're right. So 3D, yes. Or something with the particles, or if you're good in Blender, or that things, yes.
yeah, I think actually I love Blender. I'm a super Blender fangirl. It's just since the 2D 2.8 version, it's just the UI is beautiful and it's very intuitive, and all the
Okay.
shortcuts make sense. Like I've been working in Unity for a while and Substance Painter, and I hate all the shortcuts. And in Blender, it's just so smart. I really like that one. So
Okay.
I think it makes it easier for new students. I mean, when I started out with 3D, I used 3ds Max, and that was
Yes.
hell.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Okay. But another question to the style. There's someone who's called Niola. The question again in German. Was rätst du jemanden, der sich auch als Stylehopper bezeichnen könnte in Sachen Portfolio? Sollte man sich hier lieber einen bestimmten Style eineignen? So, what do you think about someone who is a style hopper for his portfolio? Is it better to have one style, or is it better to have many styles in that portfolio you can show?
Yeah. Well, I value variety, and I
Yeah.
think a good art director will value that as well. And a good art director can look at your work and know you know your basics. That's the most important thing. Even if you only have one style in your portfolio, if you don't know your basics, it will show. Like your style can be super fancy and hide all your mistakes, like my high render stuff, my high polished things. Those hide my mistakes, but a good art director will see right through that. But yeah, I'm a bit biased, so actually I like to see variety. I know that another person who will be on this stream today, the Paul, has amazing varied styles. He has super great artwork, and it's such a pleasure just to look at it. Yeah, it doesn't make your Instagram famous or social media famous, because yeah, for social media, just have one style, do that, and never change it up. Never change it up.
Yeah.
But for jobs, I think have multiple styles, but show that you can work cohesively in those styles. For example, I'm actually doing a little side thing with Siactro. So I'm doing all the artwork for the characters. It's going to be a little point and click adventure. It's going to be super fun and super small and nothing really important. But yeah, I really had to focus in on that look, and the backgrounds had to fit with the assets, had to fit with the UI, had to fit with the characters, and just
Yes.
show that you can do that. Like
That you can adapt the other
yeah,
styles, maybe. So for this is a variety
yeah,
very good. And maybe you can have in your portfolio something beside it what you like to do. So what would
definitely, yeah.
your style? Yes.
Show what
So,
you like to do.
yeah.
Like really working for Myth just was such an eye-opening thing for me, because realism is boring. To me at least. I'm just so sick of rendering stuff, and it was such freedom, and just okay, in future I will show stuff like that in my portfolio so I can get more jobs like that. Of course, do what you like. I mean, you don't want to be the person that does crates for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question here in the chat is someone who's called Colea 1984.
I know this one.
Yes, okay, fine. What would be the franchise or the topic for which you would like to work? You would have the free choice, and why would koalas have to be in it? I think koalas should not be maybe penguins, in your opinion. Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think we can compromise on having just both. Let's have both.
Is it someone from Tivola?
No, no, no. It's a friend who sends me memes all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'd love to work on a horror IP. Like horror games are my soft spot. I'm not good at them, and I frighten easily, but I love horror. So I'd like to work on a horror IP or just something very classic or just weird. I don't know. I want to work on different projects and fun stuff and small things. I have no interest in working AAA. I don't generally. I don't know. I don't have the feeling for that. It's just not for me. I like little games, smart little games, little experiences. The other day I played a short hike that was like a 2 to 3 hour experience and it was beautiful. And if I can create something like that, yeah, sign me up.
Okay, super. So I will thank you for now, and it was a pleasure to have you here. And thank you for your open mind to come to Hamburg. But in a few minutes, we will come to you to the Discord server from Stefan.
Yeah, actually, I really love Hamburg. I don't think I ever told you guys, but that's where I want to be one day, just somewhere in the north. Hamburg is so beautiful. I was
Yeah,
painting a ship the other day and was just thinking, oh, the Maritime Museum in Hamburg would be such a great resource for reference right now. Yeah,
yes,
you have a
come
beautiful
around
city.
when Corona is over, so you can.
Definitely,
I'm
yeah.
sure you can come to any one of us. So here in the Indie Treff, we will find a way to have you as a guest. So no problem for bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, have fun with the other games and
Thank you. And you will join the Discord too. So if there will be
yeah.
any questions, so people can come around and talk with you again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
have a nice
So
evening.
thank
See
you,
you soon.
and see you soon too. And now
Thanks, Cassie.
I will.
Sorry, a friend of mine just wrote. I'm
No
great.
problem. No
Just
problem. Hey,
throw me out.
Kathy. Ja, no. So, I switched to German. Ich würde einmal den Paul von, war das Sauerkraut? Kraut, irgendwie Kraut. Er wird sich gleich selber noch mal kurz vorstellen. Wir haben eine Game Station mit Tropf und da würde ich jetzt gerne einmal den Simon bitten zu überblenden.